Real talk, no bull, mate.
Real talk, no
That's
bull,
it.
mate.
Sort it.
Who are you?
I'm Brayden. What about yourself?
Tim
Tim?
Hunter?
Tim Hunter?
Yep,
Yep. Tell me a bit
yep.
about yourself, Tim.
Well, I'm from New
Who is
Zealand.
Tim?
I'm from New Zealand.
No?
You might have picked that up.
Yep.
Yeah, viewers might have picked that up.
Yep.
Um, yeah, born and raised West Auckland, New Zealand, and spent some time living in New Plymouth before we moved to Australia in 2023.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Father
Yep.
of two daughters,
Beautiful.
husband. Been with my wife 20 years, just over 20 years now, and full of highs and lows and good times and hard times, but
Yep.
that's what makes it what it is. And yeah, loving life in Queensland, Australia now.
Yes. Beautiful spot.
Beautiful spot.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, where have you come from?
Originally from Melbourne,
Melbourne.
Victoria. Yep. Grew up in the Werribee, the sewage plant area.
Okay.
And then uh, we moved to Oakley, which is where I spent most of my life. And then me and my wife have known each other for we've been together for about 20 years as well. She's from Noble Park, well, originally from Argentina.
Okay.
And then got a job offer to come up here, made the move, been up here for about 3 or 4 years now,
Yeah.
and I've loved every bit of it.
Yeah.
Yep, not looking back at the moment, the weather,
Yeah.
it's just like a working holiday.
And so, work brought you
Yeah,
to Queensland?
yeah, I had the opportunity to do a mature age apprenticeship on my normal wage.
Yeah.
So that was it was for an electrical apprenticeship, but wasn't really enjoying it. So I made the move because I feel if you're going to work with electricity, you need to be working on it all day, every day,
Mm.
not just 20% of your day.
Yeah.
So I felt a bit unsafe and liked the thought of living instead of dying.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I didn't really throw in the towel, but it was more of a safety thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so you obviously you came up with this idea for Real Talk No Bull.
Yep.
What brought you to this place? What made you? What was your motivation behind setting up what we're doing right now?
Um, the main reason is obviously men's mental health. It doesn't get spoken about enough. I know some men do talk about it, but I think there needs to be more attention brought to it. There's a lot of men out there that suffer, you know, breaking down that barrier and that stigma of men not being able to really open up to one another.
Totally.
And I've obviously myself struggling with my own issues as well. I'm an open book. I talk to everyone, and I hope that through this podcast and myself and yourself talking about mental health issues and anything and dad issues, what it's like to be a man
Yeah.
these days, hopefully it resonates with people and
Yeah.
we can help kind of navigate other dads and lads going through similar situations and
Yeah. That's it. Eh?
just offer just some down to earth, no bull advice.
Yeah.
Stuff that's worked for us.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I guess that's all I've got to offer. Like I'm no professional
Yeah.
with men's mental health, but I am a man.
Yep.
I've gone through my own issues too.
Yeah.
And I guess all I have is personal experience.
Yep.
I've lived a pretty fulfilling life so far in my 41 years of being on this planet,
Yeah.
and 41 times around the sun, and had plenty go down in my life so far. So there's been a lot of learning.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's all I really have to offer to the table, and I'd say that a lot of guys out there probably been through very similar stuff,
Yeah.
and have very similar stories as us. And yeah, I guess like you said, there's a stigma behind not talking, and New Zealand and Australia are represented as some of the highest suicide rates in the world.
Oh wow.
And so it's kind of like, why is that? And I guess that's another topic for another episode. But um, for some reason, men just don't talk. It's getting better. Like It definitely is getting better. Like, there's a lot more people doing this now, and there's a lot more men,
Yeah.
focusing on men's mental health and what's good for men. And there's a lot more men out there opening up and being there for other men to open up as well.
Yep.
But it's still, it's still we're still losing good men to poor mental health and
Yeah.
systems that are failing men.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's and I think just creating open dialogue, it helps. And if I guess we can sort of help people come out of their shell to talk to their mates, then that's why I'm here. Because
Yep.
I've been trying over the last. I lost my best mate in 2018, and
Yep.
he was one of two best mates that I've lost since I was 17, and I've lost an uncle and another three mates to suicide, and I just kind of needed to do something. I felt
Yeah.
like I needed to do something, so I started doing like Movembers
Yep.
to raise money, raise awareness, and every year I think to myself, oh, I won't do it this year, but then I end up doing it because I feel like I need to be doing something.
Yep.
So when you approached me to ask me if I wanted to do this with you, I thought, well, why not? Because
Yeah.
it's another way that we can talk about this,
Yeah.
and we can put out that message that it's okay to
Yep.
to talk about it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I think in the next as the episodes go on, we'll create topics and we'll delve into those topics. Um, like we've discussed, we're going to get some guests on.
Yep.
We've got some guests lined up,
Yep.
which will be cool.
Yeah.
Get some other people in here,
Yep.
and have a chat. And so yeah, I think that'll be really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I'm glad
yeah,
you've agreed to do this, well, with all of us,
yeah,
all
yeah.
three of us, with Dean behind the camera.
Yeah, we've got producer Dean in here
Yeah.
too. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
No, so I think it's the fact that we're gonna just be.
Hey, you're gonna have to turn that
Yeah,
off
I
next
thought
time.
I did. I thought I did. I'll do that now.
You're like in the movie
I
theaters,
know.
mate.
Oh,
It's
geez.
like,
How rude. Who's
oh
that
my
guy with a
God.
jackass?
Yeah.
Yeah, I just think it's a good opportunity for, you know, considering that we are all part of the dads community and
Yep.
we see and we talk to other dads who are in the same kind of situations as us or
Mm,
have been, and that's the other thing, we'll have other dads on here that can offer a different perspective of things that we haven't been through
yeah,
to help reach others that are going through what they're going through. So
totally.
so hopefully, as long
Totally.
as we can reach a few people, that's all that matters, man.
Yeah, man, yeah. So I guess where are we at? Like share a defining story about yourself. Something that you feel like's defined you. I'm gonna put you on the spot here,
Oh
mate.
shit.
Like, you know, we've all got pivotal moments in our life. You know, I know it wasn't one that we discussed.
Nah, you've thrown me. I
Oh
like
man,
it.
yeah,
It's real.
yeah, yeah,
Honestly, a pivotal moment
yeah,
is one of late that you've been aware of when I ended up in hospital.
yeah, yeah.
Hospital. That was a pivotal moment in my life where I've really sought different means to help my mental health. I've I'm exploring yoga. I'm doing meditation, things that I would never ever
Mm,
contemplate or thought that I would ever do.
yeah.
But it's I've been listening to Tony Robbins, Sadhguru.
Oh man, I used to love his infomercials when I
Man,
was when I was a kid. You get a sick day and you'd sit home
yeah,
in the
man.
morning and you'd watch all the infomercial. Like Tony Robbins would come on, and
Ah,
yeah,
yeah,
oh
man.
man.
And you feel for like,
And I would watch that shit intently, There's a whole hour of infomercial of Tony
yeah,
Robbins, and I'd sit there and I'd watch it, and I'd just, wow, man, this
yeah, but
guy's so big and powerful,
yeah,
and
but I
it's
used to
like,
always think, oh, this guy's just, he's just full of it. He's just, people are just buying
yeah,
into that is paying for his service. But it's
yeah,
like, well, if all these people are willing to spend this kind of money on his courses and that, he must be doing something right.
totally, man,
So yeah, I started buying into a few of his philosophies, and same with this guru. And like I never thought I'd say that.
yeah,
I never thought that's where I'd be turning to at this point in my life. And to be honest, the hospital trip happened about a month ago, and I think mentally now I'm in the best spot I've been in years, man.
Yeah.
Years. It was a silver lining.
Yeah.
So that's probably a pivotal moment, one of the defining moments of my life so far. Obviously,
Yeah.
being a dad and all that stuff. But
Yeah.
if I'm just talking about me,
Yeah.
that's really brought some clarity.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about yourself?
Oh man,
I'm just
it's
gonna, I'm just gonna, I'm
yeah,
being lazy here.
yeah. No, well, I mean, like, I guess one of the big ones for me was at 17 when my mate took his life.
Yeah.
We were all we were all pretty ratbag teenagers. Like we were good kids. We all came from pretty good backgrounds, but we were ratbags. Running amok around the streets and stuff. We were skateboarders and
Yeah.
sort of hanging out and smoking weed and
Yeah.
kind of graffitiing and kind of just
Mm.
running amok.
Living the dream.
Having fun.
Yeah.
But then, yeah, when we lost Sam, it kind of woke a lot of us up. We all kind of parted ways for a bit, and we all kind of woke up a little bit, but had kind of a had it had weird effect on people. Like for me, like back then, there was no offer of help of counselling,
No.
or there was no kind of like thought about mental health, because mental health back then wasn't really even a thing that was talked about,
Nah.
or whatever. And so for me at 17 going on 18, like I turned to drugs.
Yep.
I got into partying heaps, and even though I was having a real good time and I never really had very many bad experiences, it was pretty self-destructive behavior for the next few years after that. Like I was just masking all of the emotions that I had. You're just trying to get on with life, but you don't know how,
It's all
because
band-aids.
yeah, it's all band-aids. And then I met my wife, my now wife, and she wasn't really into that sort of scene, and that was good for me because it was a nice little breakaway from that. And then we kind of just formed a life together. And so for me that was a pretty big pivotal moment. Like um yeah, it kind of made me stop and think. It made me start to notice the small things about life. It made me kind of delve in a little bit more. But I was heavily depressed at the time, and I didn't even know it.
Yeah.
It
Okay.
wasn't until I was probably in my late 20s to 30s that I kind of reflecting on that time of my life, like I was, going through pretty bad depression that, you didn't even know that you really had,
Yeah.
because um, of the way that you were just dealing and coping with it. And but I had, it wasn't all bad. There was a lot of good times up in there. Um, that's also something else we could delve into in another episode. But yeah, yeah, I've had some pretty big defining moments there. And then you lose a few more mates along the way, and it kind of just solidifies the reasons that you have for becoming better and
Yeah.
focusing on your mental health, and kind of being more open with people. And um, yeah, like I talk to a lot of guys. Um, I reach out to a lot of people because I like to know that they're doing okay. And in the same token, it helps me convey what I'm going through.
Yeah.
And, because we can share stuff.
Yep.
And that for me is good therapy for me.
Yeah.
I've never had paid therapy. I've never even been to a counselor.
Yep.
Oh, I did once for um, when I was going through some sort of, you know, I was getting off the pot for a bit back when I was about 25, and I went and saw a drug counselor for a little bit. But yeah, apart from that, it was yeah, just sort of, yeah, learning how to deal and cope. But it wasn't until in my early 30s that I sort of started to really focus on becoming a better person.
Yep.
Um, Yeah, I had a mate from school, actually. I'll name drop him, Daniel Munro. He sort of started something called the Brojo,
Okay.
and yeah, it was about men's confidence, and sort of he teaches men how to sort of not be people pleasers and stuff like that. And I was a real big people pleaser.
Okay.
Um, I loved making people happy. Love making people like me. And
Yeah.
even if that meant sort of sacrificing myself to do something for somebody, or make somebody like me, I wasn't really focusing on my own needs and stuff like that. And so yeah, kind of. I started to kind of listen to the way that he was thinking, and I really kind of I think because I knew him on a personal level, we went to high school together, and the way that I'd seen him kind of transition from high school into, he was a corrections officer, and then he got out
Yeah,
of that, and then he kind of got into sort of mentoring, and I just really liked what he was doing, and so um, and I liked what he was saying too. I could relate,
yeah,
and so for me, his words really helped me. Thanks, Dan. Um, and yeah, and so that was big stuff for me. Yeah, and so yeah, last 10 years I've been sort of on this sort of like journey of well, I don't like the word journey. I like the word quest.
yeah,
On this quest
yeah,
of just self development really, and just trying to be better.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's why I come to you for a lot of things, to be honest, man, because I've only just started my quest.
Yeah.
So that's why
Yeah.
I'm often on the voice message,
Yeah.
trying to keep me on that path, mate.
That's good, man. It's good. It's good. Like all I have is my own experiences, right?
Yeah,
And just things that have worked for me. Um, and so yeah, that's really all I have.
yep,
And I like to listen. I like to watch what other people are doing.
yeah,
I like to read quotes, and some of it all sounds a bit cheesy sometimes, but there's a lot of truth in some things that when you're doom scrolling,
oh yeah.
Instagram, and you're getting
Motivational quotes, and
motivational
you've
stuff
got
popping up,
the yeah,
and like it's all a bit much sometimes, but there's a few really standout people that like resonate,
yeah,
and so that's you pick and choose what you want,
yeah,
you know, and and we're all manipulated by something,
100%.
and it's you can't say that you're not being manipulated
Yeah,
by narratives and stuff like that, but if you choose a good narrative to be manipulated by, then that's surely not a bad
if
thing.
it's making you a
Like,
better person,
that's
what's
right.
wrong with that?
That's right. That's
And
right.
yeah, well, that's what I also like when I was talking to Steve, Dad's community, um, that you know I've obviously seen a fair few psychs and whatnot, but it's when you talk to just men or lads or whatnot, they tend to say the same things that the specialists are telling you. But when like for example, if one of us was to give someone advice or give me advice, it's the same stuff that I'm hearing from the specialists. It just resonates more coming from a dad,
Mm,
not some uh, scholar,
yeah.
I guess. So yeah, so I like with what you said with talking and listening. I feel that everything resonates more just coming from the average Joe.
Yeah.
That's just my opinion.
Yeah. I guess like the average Joe and the scholar, we've all got something in common because we're all just people,
That's right.
and they might have been through the same stuff too, and that's why they are sitting
In
in
that
that
chair.
chair,
Yeah.
and um, they've just been able to retain that information
Yeah.
better to convey it in a better way. I quite often struggle to convey the information sometimes.
It's hard.
It's hard, yeah.
It's so hard.
And so it's yeah, it's more about, it's sort of, I like that one on one, but it's also hard to get the point across sometimes because you don't exactly know how to say it. But just talking in general,
Yep.
it does eventually come out, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, yeah, yeah. But yeah, but now we got some guests lined up.
Yep.
Yeah, so we're gonna have Steve on.
Steve on
Steve,
the founder.
the founder of the Dads Community.
Yep.
So for the viewers out there, the Dads Community is a community that was founded by Steve. You'll meet him in the weeks to come,
Yep.
and it's brought a lot of men together. Brayden and I met each other through the Dads Community. Dean
Dean.
behind the camera, he's a member of the Dads
Yep.
Community, and so it's brought men together in a really healthy, positive way. And yeah, he's going to be our first guest on the show, which and he'll shed a lot more light on the dad's community, why he started it, what his vision is with it, and yeah, so
We've got
um,
Ryan from One Talk,
got Ryan from One Talk. He's
another podcaster.
he's got a
He's
pretty
got a
famous
pretty famous
podcast.
podcast, actually.
So that'll be cool to get somebody on who's
Yep.
a bit of a guru, got a bit of knowledge.
Yep.
We've got
We're
some,
gonna get my psychologist on,
yeah,
Rachel. She's going to discuss the difference between men's and women's mental health
yeah,
and how it affects, obviously, depression and whatnot, how that affects men differently,
yeah,
which I think is going to be an eye opener for a few people, and hopefully it offers some insight to some guys who haven't really thought, oh, maybe it might lead them to seek some kind of help.
yeah,
They might just listen to it or see us and go, oh, shit, I tick a few boxes.
yeah,
Maybe this is something that I could benefit from. So
yeah,
we'll get Rachel on.
yeah. Yeah, we've got a paramedic
Yep,
coming on,
that's gonna be a good one.
Jeff Normack. So
Yeah,
he's gonna sort of talk about sort of life as a paramedic and how that's affected him, and that'll be a really neat episode.
yep,
We've got a local dad, Matt.
yeah.
He's got a pretty big story
Yeah.
to tell,
Well, he's got a mate.
and
He's to me. He's a big inspiration. That guy, man,
massive inspiration,
massive.
mate.
Like I can't.
Yeah,
Oh, I've got. You wait until we interview him. You'll see the love for
yeah,
this guy.
yeah,
He's got the biggest heart I've.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
good on him.
Big personality, big heart,
Yep.
and yeah, just inspiring story. So yeah, we've got a few good lined up, and then
Yep.
yeah, we'll seek out some more as the weeks go on, and
Yeah.
we get better at this.
Yeah. Yep.
We're
Yep.
pretty novice at the moment, so we'll see
I
how.
think we're doing all right.
Yeah, oh yeah, we're not doing
We're
too
doing.
bad.
We're not doing too bad.
Not
Like yeah.
too bad.
Yeah, we're getting there.
And then I got a few little things planned, some sort of interlude stuff.
Yep.
I'm gonna hit the street, and
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna
Street talk.
yeah, it's a bit of street talk,
Yep.
and we'll slip that in the mix there,
Absolutely, mate.
just to
Absolutely.
break up the episodes a
Might
little
even have
bit.
like some campfire sessions, maybe.
Yeah,
Get the mic passed around the
yeah,
fire.
that'd be cool, eh?
That's when men open up.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We need to do some man's camps, I think.
Fire healing.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. We'll throw it at each
Yeah.
other.
Yep.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
So that'll be good.
Yeah, that'd be good, eh?
That was good
But
and some good and big things to come, I reckon.
yeah, I reckon, eh?
Yeah.
I
Once we get
reckon.
this thing down pat properly,
Yep,
professional,
yep,
but not too professional.
yeah,
No, that's
yeah.
not us.
Nah, nah. And
Yeah.
so yeah, so let's talk about the logo.
Well, it wasn't the original one, was it?
Nah.
It was just a guy in a beard and a hat, which have a
Yeah,
look.
yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
then
yeah.
yeah, it was just what we were doing was sitting by the Lake Eden Cafe having a chat about this very podcast,
Yeah,
and you've spat some info into was it Messenger or Chat GP, and
yeah.
that's what came up,
That was it.
and
And
we
I
both just loved it.
thought it looked pretty good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's to be honest, it's great.
It's
It's
not bad.
hilarious. Yeah,
It's not bad. I quite like
yeah,
it. Yeah, yeah. I think we did well there.
yeah.
I mean, the joys of AI.
Oh man,
Yeah,
it's scary how good AI is now.
that's right.
Yeah, I learned that today with the dog.
That's
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. That told me what the dog had before the vet did.
yeah. Oh, so you had some issues with the dog. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. We got home today, and she's usually the first person to greet me at the door when I walk in, and there was my old timer Snow just sitting in his bed, deaf, didn't know that I was home, and I'm like, oh, where's Dora? And then there she's dragging her legs across the backyard, stumbling, trying to vomit, and then I just said to Lars, my wife, said, mate, have a look at your dog, straight to the vet, mate. Yeah, it was pretty scary. We thought
mm,
we were gonna lose her.
yeah, crazy.
Yeah, that was pretty heavy. And while we're waiting for the blood tests and the vet, I just quickly symptoms, the eyes twitching and the legs not moving, and it said, yeah, either a stroke or I can't remember what the name of the other disease was, but that's what she's got.
Yeah,
So, so yeah, chat AI, mate, watch out.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
that's crazy, man. There's going to be no need for schools and unis one day.
Oh man, it's pretty scary.
Yeah,
It's pretty scary. I mean, I don't really know enough about it
no,
at the moment. Like, I guess I'm not really that technologically advanced. I was a tween when the internet came out.
yeah,
I think I was 11
dial up.
or 12. Um, I never really had a computer until I was even 25.
Yeah, okay. Yeah,
Um,
rightio.
yeah, like I just didn't have one.
Yeah.
I kind of didn't really even like pressure my parents to get one or anything. I was just out skateboarding all the time. That was just I was just skateboarding. If I had any free time, it was just skateboarding.
Yeah, man.
And so I just never really had a use for a computer.
No,
But I guess I don't feel like I missed out, but
nah.
I'm definitely not as
Up with it.
technologically advanced as I could be. I mean, Dean had to set
Yeah,
up microphones for me.
I was waiting for that. I was just about to chime in and go, "Oh,
Yeah,
look, Dean had to set
yeah,
this
yeah,
up, and
yeah,
look how
yeah.
quickly he did it."
That's why he's the
Thank you,
producer.
man. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But funny that you're saying all this stuff because I don't know how many times I come home and the kids are either on the TV or they're on their iPads, and I'm like, "Kids, what are you doing?"
Mm,
But something that my psych said is this is the norm for our kids now,
that's
man.
right.
So if when we think we're doing the right thing by just taking them off their devices, but we're just pulling the rug from out of underneath them,
Mm,
and they're cracking it
yeah.
because we think that how we lived should still be the norm, but that's just not the way.
Nah.
That is not the way the world's heading.
How do you navigate the technology with the kids?
During the week, my daughter's not allowed to go on her iPad. No, we've
Yeah.
got boundaries. They can watch some TV, but they do have yeah, during the week, there's no iPads, there's no phones, there's no Switch. It's still very much get your homework done.
Yep.
That's you've got to. I remember when I was young, I had to earn
Mm,
to be on the first Nintendo.
yep.
I wasn't able to just come in and pick it up and start playing. So I'm not trying to get them to earn it, but I just want them to know that it it's not the be all and end all of your day.
Yeah.
We've
Yeah.
we've had to set timers,
Yep.
so my daughter can't get up at 6 o'clock on a Friday or sorry, not a Friday, but like a Saturday morning and start going on her iPad because I don't want I want her to experience sleep-ins.
Yeah.
I don't want her waking up just going bang. There's the screen.
Yeah.
And the attention spans are
Yeah.
non-existent.
Yeah.
So
Are they are your kids using them in schools? Do they use them
uh,
in school?
no, not yet.
No.
No, they're using computers and they've got all that stuff. Sometimes actually, sorry, sometimes we do let Abby do mathletics on it,
Yep.
but usually we try to get her to do it on a computer.
Yeah.
But other than that, we pretty much enforce Monday to Friday evenings, you know, homework,
Yep.
play, interaction
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
they still need it.
Yeah.
What about yourself? Do you guys have any bands or?
Yeah. Well, we'd kept our kids off devices um, pretty much up until we moved here.
Yeah,
The kids' schools have the iPad usage in school,
yeah,
and so there was kind of not really we weren't really able to keep them off it at school. What happens at school is what happens at school, right? But then it kind of I guess we allow half an hour time slots
yep,
on theirs in the evening,
yep,
but after dinner, after things are done, um, and if they've got enough time, then yeah, they have a
yeah,
half an hour time slot. But it's not really something that I like
yeah,
because, like you said, like I didn't grow up with it, and I know that there's fun to be had outside. But our kids are growing up in a different time, right?
yep,
And so it's really hard to try and navigate that because I'm kind of old school,
yeah,
and my kids, yeah, they know how to navigate their iPads pretty well, like better than I do.
yeah,
And they know how to navigate the TV well. But yeah, like we try and keep them active too, doing stuff. And so it's kind of, I think we've got to find a balance. Like I don't want them missing out,
yep.
but I don't want them not sort of living their childhood either.
You don't
Because
want to get
yeah,
consumed by it.
no, I don't. I don't. Yeah, I kind of get sad by when you're at the mall and you see kids sitting in a trolley and they've just got their face buried in an iPad
Yeah,
or a phone. And I get it. Sometimes it's easy for the parents to be able to just do that so that they can get the shopping done
yeah,
and totally. I'm not got anything against that. You know, if you've got a kid that likes to scream or run away or whatever, then yeah, sure, okay.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to tell you how to parent your kid.
Nah.
And you know, we don't know the situation there. But would I do that? No. Um, I kind of like to try and involve my kids in what we're doing, and so. Yeah, but that's just, you know, that's just me and that's just my wife and that's just how we raise our kids. But it's yeah, it's a little bit of a tricky one because yeah, like you don't know where it's going to go, you know. But I guess with you know everywhere we go, there's technology. You go into
Everywhere.
fast food, there's touch screens. You go into the
Restaurants.
supermarkets, there's self checkouts.
Yep.
You go into yeah restaurants. Everything is automated these days. And so our kids are, you know, like we can go to the supermarket and my kids can beep the stuff and take my card and do
Yeah.
the zapper and get the receipt and out the door we go and I don't need to do anything.
Yep.
You know, they're 6 and 9. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and so, you know, that's yeah, that's the world that we're living in, and it's but yeah, make them get outside too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They need to experience the outdoors a bit more. I think that's why I'm going to start trying to introduce the Sundays, getting out with the family, walks and nature, and
yeah,
or even going to fun parks or whatever it is, getting him out of the house and off the screens. But I remember talking to me parents, and my old man used to always say, or he still says it now, that he's like, mate, if we had this kind of technology when I was younger, the amount of times that they would have been out more, you know, at dinners with their friends, and
mm,
so he was like, you know, it's not all bad,
no,
but it's got to be within it has to be within moderation, otherwise they're going to end up with square eyes.
that's it,
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
the old square
First
eyes.
world problems, eh?
Oh yeah, mate.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, totally, man, totally. It's yeah, it'd be interesting to see how how it goes for the kids. You know, you talk to some people and they say, "Oh no, I don't want to bring kids into this world." You know, and yeah, it's
I get it.
the world's messed up.
I get
But
it.
you know, back in the old days, they would have said, "Oh, the world's messed up."
Yeah,
At the moment, you know,
it.
it's
Every generation before
that's
says the same thing,
that's right.
but it's just differently.
Yeah, the way I see it though is like if you don't have your child for whatever reason, some people don't want children, that's cool. But your child might be a child that grows up to change the world,
Yeah,
you know? And so if you didn't have them, then, you know, how did they not get the opportunity to change course of history?
yeah,
So yeah, I mean, I don't know. Two, I'm happy with two though.
yeah, yeah.
I don't need to bring any more of my DNA into the world.
Nah, mate.
Nah.
Nah. As soon as I had Zachy,
Yep.
yep,
Oh, yep.
yep,
Yep.
yep,
And
yep.
and how did that go? Well, let's go on to that. The snip.
It happened to be the coldest day in Melbourne.
Oh, jeez. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's an embarrassing story, that one. But yeah, mate, I was in there in and out in 20 minutes.
Yep.
Yep, just a little nick.
It's a little Nick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I was seriously out and back at work the next day.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
highly recommended if you don't want more.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
No, no, no. Don't need any more of me running around.
no, and yeah, my
Who's enough?
wife's got the one of the things. So if we do have another one, we'll call it Houdini.
Yeah.
Yeah, mate,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
magician.
Yeah. Yeah. Miracle baby. Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah,
Craziness. No, awesome. Yeah. I plan on getting it done. Plan.
a lot of men think it's like, oh, it's gonna change me. It's gonna.
No, I don't think it's
It,
gonna change me. I just I
oh,
don't know. It's one of those like I've had surgeries. I had my appendix out, and I've had a hernia repaired, and but it's just not something I can pull the pin on.
yeah,
It's
it's just a band-aid, man.
yeah,
Just book
yeah,
it, get it done.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Wham bam. Thank
yeah.
you, ma'am.
Just get past the awkwardness.
Yeah, yeah.
Just make it
Oh,
look pretty.
yeah, yeah. There's definitely no awkwardness there. But yeah, it's I don't know. It's just it's only something I've started recently thinking about. So yeah, we're sort of toying on the idea there.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's reversible.
It's reversible, yeah. Well, that's can you make it not reversible?
I guess so.
You know, I don't know.
Burn the ends of it
Yeah, yeah.
instead of tying it.
Cauterize it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah. Well, then it wouldn't be, I guess.
yeah.
But I guess you don't get it done to reverse it, do you?
No, that's right.
Nah, you've made your decision.
Yeah,
Yeah, make your bed and lie in it.
that's it. That's it. No, we yeah, don't need any more materialism consumerance
No,
in the earth, eh?
no,
No, that's it, eh?
no, that's
That's
enough,
it.
mate.
Ah,
It's a
nice.
two-kid policy.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, two kids. Yep. But no, man. And so what does Brayden do to make himself happy?
I'm learning that at the moment, to
Yep.
be honest. At the moment, get lost in music. Music's one of my big outlets. I wish I could play guitar better. So that's why with a guy from work, when there was a few issues at work, he got me back into guitar, just learning blues scales. It's just something easy that I can just dabble away on. Don't have to
Mm-hmm.
think too much about, which is good. I like going to concerts as well. It's like for that, it's like watching a movie, but for the 2 hours, the world's in my mind just stops because I'm just focusing on what's in front of me. So there's no outside noise.
Yep.
It's just an escape. Barbecuing.
Yep.
Yeah, I love cooking.
Yep.
Love cooking some mean meat by
Yep.
fire.
The moot.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, big chunks.
Yep.
Yeah. To be honest, like I said, I'm still really searching to find it, but
Yeah.
these are the things I dabble in at the moment that seem to be working.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. 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 Nice. Nice. No, that's
Yep.
the one, eh? I think most men can get on board with the
Yeah.
barbecuing thing. I've never really been much of a barbecuer, but back in NZ, barbecues are a pretty staple Kiwi thing.
Yeah.
And much of the time it just consists of a few lamb chops, a couple of steaks, and some sausages on the barbie. But the evolution of the barbecue, and guys getting into it a bit more, and I've never really had the time or the space myself, but I'll definitely eat it
Yeah.
if someone's cooking it.
Yeah. But what about
Yeah.
yourself? Obviously, with your biking background and not doing that anymore. How have you
I'm like an all eggs in one basket kind of guy. So if I'm doing something, I'm doing
doing it?
it, and I'm gonna do it until I cannot do it anymore. And so, you know, back in the day, it was sports. Did a lot of sports as I grew up. I skateboarded most of my teens into my early 20s, and then I found mountain biking, and I mountain biked from my early 20s through to um, my late 30s, essentially. Did a lot within the mountain biking um, sector, and that was really fulfilling part of my life. And then sort of found some whitewater kayaking after that.
Yeah. Right.
Did that. That's really humbling. You can't fuck with the river, man. Like the river will just own you. And so with 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 mountain biking, that there was limitless possibilities, but kayaking, yeah, there is limitless possibilities, but it's just whether or not you're brave enough to go to the next levels and the next levels. And then sort of right now I'm just sort of running and doing some running stuff and just sort of challenging myself that way. But I guess it all just comes back to I just like being outside.
Yep.
Um, I like being at the beach. I like being in the bush. I like hiking mountains. Um, I just like looking at outdoor, like sunsets and sunrises, and I like bugs and I like animals, and just being outside, just experiencing
Yeah.
life. I've been to some pretty cool spots around the world and seen some things that not many people would get to see, and so that's pretty cool. And but yeah, just like hanging out with my family, um, and doing those sorts of things. Right now, I've sort of gotten into to fish,
Yeah.
so sort of yeah, got a big
Got the
tank,
new
and
tank.
yeah, got the new tank, and I'm just sort of learning about fish keeping and all of that. It's just sort of a nice little hobby at home. Always like to have a little hobby at home. For years I did art and I
Okay.
draw, and then for years after that I collected die-cast cars and um, did customizing of cars and stuff like that. And then I had kids, and kids became my hobby.
Yeah.
Delve right into that, and then it was sort of I love building stuff and fixing stuff. So it's kind of like just building stuff for the kids all the time, and tree houses and
Little
climbing
wins, mate. Little
frames
accomplishments.
and yeah, man, just just being active, like using my hands,
Yeah,
being outside. Love seeing the kids just having a good time. Like even just the other day, the wife and I just sitting on the beach, just sitting back watching the kids, just loving it.
that's awesome.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I wish I can
Just
get to that spot because
yeah,
I don't know how many times where I sit there and watch the kids. I'm going all the noise and the yelling and
oh,
screaming and the carrying on. You're just
yeah,
going,
yeah.
how I often think to myself, how am I not enjoying some of these moments,
Yeah,
and
yeah. Screaming's pretty triggering for me.
it sets me off.
Yeah. I don't like screaming kids, but hey, it's. If it's not my kids, it's all right to deal with.
That's right.
But it's
You understand it. You go, "Oh, okay, I feel your pain."
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
but when it's yours, you like kind of, oh shit.
That's it.
Yeah,
That's it. But yeah, no, awesome, man. So, episode 1.
yeah, it's done and dusted, man.
Yeah,
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 I think
yeah.
I think we did all right.